Hello, welcome back to 3D Drawing 3 Model Railway. In today's episode we're going to continue working on with the intermediate wagon. We're going to start looking at drawing the rail head that goes along the top that the gantry crane runs on. Now there's a couple of issues that potentially we're going to have to sort of skirt around. One is that these two rails here swing open and connect across the two wagons. Now you can model them in both ways, but obviously for ease of modelling there'd be no point drawing them going all the way across, because then you've got to deal with the issue with going around corners and things like that. So we'll just do them sideways on when we come to draw those two parts. But the rail itself is just a normal piece of rail. I do have dimensions that Paul's provided in some of his drawings, so we're going to draw based off of those and maybe scale up a slightly, because the dimensions of the track itself is quite tiny and make it quite difficult to print. So the dimensions that Paul's given me is it's 3 inches across the top of the rail and 6 1/4 inches high. And obviously the base is a little bit longer than that, 3 inches across. The base is probably closer to 5 to 6 inches. So as I say, we're just going to try and do some sort of representation of this, and then we'll see how it looks once we've drawn it. So jumping into Fusion, we're going to create a sketch. In fact, we're going to go slightly off of this. We're going to create an offset plane from the headstock, and I'm just going to bring that into the wagon ever so slightly now. If you look at the photo here, it's not all the way in, but it's not flush, it's just ever so slightly off of it. So I'm just going to bring it in by minus 0.5 millimeters, just half a millimeter away from the edge. We're going to create a sketch on that new plane, and we're going to project on that front surface of the buffer beam so that we've got something to connect to. The other thing to note is the rail itself is up flush against the side of the frame here. It is raised ever so slightly. What I'm going to draw is just connected into the bottom. I'm not going to raise it at all. So I'm just going to start by creating another 2-point rectangle just to start. And we're going to do just a simple rectangle like that. So the height of the rail is 6 1/4 inches. So let's call it 159 millimeters. So we can define the height there as 159 divided by 148, which is again the British end scale. And then the width is 3 inches across the top. I'm actually going to do it as 5.5 inches, which will be the base, and 3 inches across that top section. So let's call that 140 millimeters. Define that is 140 divided by 148. It'll be just under a millimeter like that. So we've got the basic rectangle shape. Now we're going to draw on the actual rail head itself. So the top of the rail head is 3 inches wide, which is 76.2. If we half that, then we do 38 millimeters. That's our center point to the outer point. So we draw a line. We're going to find that center point, and you see it snaps with a little triangle there. So you can just draw a line, and we say it was 38 millimeters divided by 148, and that will create a point on there. That's 0.26 millimeters. We then draw a line down. I'm going to come down 0.2 millimeters, and then I'm going to come back in. Let's go 0.15, and then we're going to come back down. Let's go 0.7 millimeters, and then we're going to draw a diagonal angle down, and we're going to find the height from the base to the top of that angle as 0.1 millimeters. So now we've got this shape here, which is our sort of railhead type shape. I'm going to draw a line down that midpoint. I'm going to select that line, and I'm going to change that to a construction line so that it's not within the sketch, but it's there for drawing wise purposes. Next thing we can do is mirror these lines across. So select mirror, select those lines, and then select the mirror line as that center line here. Let's try it again. So that line, that one, and then the mirror line being that construction line. So now we've got that basic rail shape. Now you could curve the edges off. They're not going to be seen, so I don't really think there's going to be much point in curving those off. If you want to, if you go into 4mm or 7mm, maybe you'd want to, but I'm not going to waste my time doing that. So select the profile now, and then I'm going to extrude that profile. I'm going to drag it all the way to the inside of the wagon there, and then tell that to join. Click on OK, and now I've got that rail. Nice and simple drawing there. Okay, so now we've got these rails drawn. The next thing we're going to do is the little clamping blocks that we've got on there. So I've got the diagram that says that from the end of the rail to this first one is 435mm, and then between the centre point of each of them is 1550mm. So we can just work that out and pattern those along the wagon to make it nice and simple. And all I'm going to do is just some little rectangles that will protrude and look like they're in the right place for those. Okay, so jumping into Fusion, we're going to create a sketch on the top surface. We're going to use 2-point rectangle, draw one out initially, and we're going to find the distance from the buffer beam to the edge of the part here. So it's 435mm divided by 148. Catch up, there we go. And then we're going to define the width as 0.3 and the height of the part I'm going to go 0.5. I'm then going to define the height from the point here to the point of the box we've just drawn. We're at 0.25, and then select those two profiles. So I'm holding Shift and then holding the left mouse button down to get the drop down. Extrude, new body, symmetrically. Let's come up with error. Let's change that to new body. Then it will. I don't know why it's coming up with that error, but just changing that to new body, which is what I wanted anyhow. It's got rid of the error. So we've gone from 0.2. Do I need it that far down? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So symmetrically extruding 0.2mm, create a new body. Okay, so then looking at the wagon, each wagon's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of these clamps, so 7 on each half. So we're going to do rectangular pattern, select that body. Direction, we're going to do horizontally along the wagon. We need 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And we'll drag these out. Initially drag them 61mm. What I'm going to do is just measure the distance between them, which and then the distance from the middle one to the end. So we can do that by using the inspect tool. So if we inspect from that point to that point, we've got 9.87mm. We need half of that on this edge here. So inspect from that base to the edge, 6.81. So it all needs to move to the left by probably about 1.5mm. There's probably some maths that you can work this out quite easily, but maths isn't my strong point. So let's try 62mm there, and we can inspect these again. So that point to that point. Again, inspect from there to there. So 10mm now. That should leave us, if you're in the right place, 5mm there, 5.81. So probably needs to come to the left by 0.1 of a mil or something. Let's go by 0.2. Inspect there to there, so it's 10.07 now. There to there, 5.81, a little bit more. Let's do 10.4. Let me just show you that. So we've done 62.4 there. Inspect that. There, 10.1. There, flat edge there, to there, 5.4. 0.82 wide. Again, I'll just edit this pattern a little bit more. So I'm now going 62.6. So 62.6. That edge to that edge is 10.13. And from that edge to there, 5.2. So we're almost there. So we've got a total of 10.4 on that one. I'm just going to shuffle it along just a little bit more. So you can see how it's sort of like a trial and error to get this right. That's 10.15, 5.11. You know what, that's close enough. We're down to 0.1 of a millimetre, so I'm going to leave it at that point there, knowing that that's going to leave that space in the middle there about the right sort of size that we're looking for. Okay, so we've got those going all down there. We need them to be the other side of the rail now. So to do that, what we're going to do is create a mid-plane. It's going to go from, oops, around. I'm going to create, let's say, a mid-plane from that face on the top of the rail to that face on top of the rail. We know that mid-plane is now going to be down the rail there. And then if we do mirror bodies and we select those bodies for each of those that we've just drawn, the mirror plane, we use that mid plane that we just created, and then we can tell them to join. Should create that on that side. Throw an error there, so what we'll do is we'll edit that feature, tell it to be new bodies, see if that then creates it fine, it does. And then we can do combine, body 1, and then select all of those bodies we've just created. Why won't it work? Should just be able to combine those. Let's try again. So body 1 won't combine. Okay, let me try and work out why this isn't working. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what's causing the error, but the workaround, the way I've got around this is I've edited the rail that we've just drawn, created that as a new body, so that we know we've got a separate body. Then when we go back in, let's unhighlight that, go back into the sketch that we've drawn, select that profile, and then if we extrude that, turn off the rail, do symmetrical and join and extrude by 0.2 millimeters. That's then drawing that fine. We can then do that mirror that we've, sorry, let's undo that. Edit feature, that should be new body. Then we can do that mirror, select that body, direction. Wanted 7 of them, and the mirror was on 62.7 millimeters. Let's go the correct way, so minus 62.7 millimeters. That then draws all those in. And then we can put that mid plane in. Mid plane between that face, and then we can mirror body 7 through to 37, 7, holding shift down to 13, mirror plane being that centre one, copies them over, and then we can combine body 1 with all of those. It doesn't like it yet. Okay, so again, another fudge. I don't know why this isn't working properly. So if we combine body 1 with 7 through to 20, they combine absolutely fine. So the issue must lie around the rail, or something we've done with the rail. If we then do combine body 1 with body 6, which is the rail, it then combines fine. It all becomes one part. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Don't know why it's not working properly, but if you work around in that way, for some reason it's managed to work absolutely fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened with that, and it's a bit harder than it actually probably needed to be. I'm sure it's something probably to do how the rail was sketched, but you can see how I've just worked around that, found a way to make it work. If I had to, I'd have gone back and completely redrawn that rail. But yeah, we've got it sorted in the end, so we've got the 7 little locking lugs and the rail drawn on there, which it's starts to take shape quite nicely. So hope you've been able to follow along with the video. As I said before, if you've got any questions or queries, please leave a comment below. And if you can realise why we were having that problem, yeah, leave a comment below, because the more people that can spot these things, we're all going to learn from them in the long run. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.